All right, people, it's the video where I get to talk about my favourite thing of all time, which is squatting. I am what we refer to as a super nerd, and so I spend my time down here contemplating, trying to work internal mobility of the hips, trying to work knees over toes flexions. The squat is important, people. Don't be sleeping on it. Train it, get mobile, get good. We're going to go and look at a barbell in a moment, but I just want to talk through the general principles of how to sit in a nice squat. I'll call myself out. I'm cheating because I'm wearing heels, because we like heels. That essentially gives me more ankle mobility. We've done that in the barbellers. You see people squatting in weightlifting shoes that gives you that bit of extra heel. It makes life easier for me. But this is what the bottom position of a squat should look like. You've got stable feet, so tripod foot, big toe, little toe, heel on the floor, knees driven wide, and then chest and hips pulled through and up so that you're nice and upright here with a nice straight spine, no rounding there. The way that we set up that tension at the top of the movement, from the ground up, we're going to grip the ground with our feet. So I'm screwing my toes into the floor, which externally rotates at the hips, placing tension into my glutes. That means that I'm creating tension to take the weight down and then send it back up. So I'm going to open my hips up. I'm going to level my spine. If the spine moves when we're compressing it with weight and force, bad time. We want to keep the spine nice and fixed and then make sure we use the hips to move like that and not the spine to do the moving. So tension, brace, hips level, and then we take a deep breath and brace the core. When we've got a barbell, we'll be pulling it down onto the back, and then we lead with the hips, take that technique down, and then power back up, finishing at the top with the hips through, nice and proud. We're going to go have a look at that on a barbell now. All right, team, we're live on the gym floor, reporting from the squat rack. When you're choosing your height, make sure that it's around armpit height. If it's too high, this is arguably too high for me, but it's just all right. You're gonna have to lip it out of the rack, and that's gonna get awkward and feel annoying. About armpit height, hands wanna be as narrow as they can be without creating wrist or shoulder pain or elbow pain. Tighter is better, gets more stable, we can squat better. For me, that's about there. You'll assess where that is yourself. Pull yourself under the rack and find that position on the back that feels comfortable. Generally, you've got high bar, mid bar, and low bar, which I can't really do. Find somewhere that feels comfortable, and then think of the way of getting it out the rack as a mini squat itself. Don't use like your knees, use your hips with that turned out forces. You've braced your core already. We go up, we take 1, 2 consistent steps, 3 to adjust on the way back, and then everything we already know and we've looked at upstairs. From the ground up, toes down, knees wide, level the hips, brace the core, and then last part is pull the bar down into me. Once I've done that, lead with the hips, back up. When you're done, walk it forward, let it hit, and drop it. Easy peasy. If you struggle with the barbell, you can use a safety bar instead. Inherently, you need a lot of shoulder mobility to be able to get under that, and it's harder on the hips and the ankles as well, mobility-wise. This is the fine place to start. The barbell is universally the same in every gym. It's a good idea to get to use it. It's been around for a century, and it's still the best bit of kit we've got in the gym. But this is a good option if needed. Get yourself in the little backpack, and then everything the same. Use the hips to stand it up, walk it out, and then every bit of tension here is the same. The only thing you can't do is pull it down into you anymore. It just sort of sits on top of you. It means that it's a little more dangerous because you can't bail it, but it does make it much easier to stay upright and stable. So if you're struggling with that a little bit, it's a good place to start. Whatever you're doing, warm-up power we've discussed, the kicks, the bracing, the touchdown squats, load up bit by bit and see what we get to.